Throughout history, humanity has uncovered relics that reveal who we were, and sometimes who we weren't supposed to be. But what happens when an artifact contradicts the official timeline? When something emerges that science can't fully explain? Today, we're diving into 12 real-world artifacts that challenge what we think we know. These aren't hoaxes. They're documented, excavated, and studied by scientists and historians. But their implications? Earth-shaking. Discovered in 1901 off the coast of Antikythera, Greece, this corroded bronze artifact was initially dismissed as a mere curiosity. However, decades later, advanced imaging techniques revealed its true nature, an intricate system of over 30 precisely interlocking gears, capable of predicting celestial events with astonishing accuracy. Dating back to around 100 BCE, the Antikythera mechanism functioned as an analog computer, calculating lunar phases, solar eclipses, and even the timing of the Olympic Games. The complexity of its design suggests a level of engineering sophistication that historians once believed impossible for the ancient world. Dr. Michael Wright, a leading researcher on the mechanism, has reconstructed a working model demonstrating that its precision rivals that of 18th century clockwork. Yet, no other device of comparable complexity appears in the historical record for over a millennium. Unearthed in the 1930s near Baghdad, these unassuming clay pots contain copper cylinders, iron rods, and traces of acidic residue components that, when assembled, resemble a primitive galvanic cell. Experiments by Dr. Arne Ebrecht, a German archaeologist, demonstrated that replicas filled with vinegar or grape juice could generate a small electrical current, around 1 to 2 volts. While this voltage is minimal, multiple cells connected in series could theoretically produce enough power for electroplating, a technique used to coat objects in thin layers of gold or silver. Skeptics argue that no electroplated artifacts from the Parthian era, 250 BCE to 224 CE, have been definitively identified. However, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Ancient texts from the region reference mysterious gleaming vessels, which some speculate could refer to gilded objects created through electrochemical means. If these jars were indeed batteries, their existence implies a rudimentary understanding of electrical principles, millennia before Volta's famous experiments in the 19th century. Drafted in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, this map depicts coastlines with uncanny accuracy, including the northern shores of Antarctica, a continent that wouldn't be officially discovered until 1820. Even more perplexing is the map's rendering of Antarctica's coastline without its glacial covering. Geological evidence suggests that the last time Antarctica was ice-free was over 6,000 years ago, during a warm climatic period known as the Holocene Optimum. Piri Reis himself noted that his work was based on older source maps, some dating back to the 4th century BCE or earlier. This has led researchers like Professor Charles Hapgood to propose that ancient seafaring civilizations, perhaps the Minoans or Phoenicians, possessed advanced cartographic knowledge, later preserved in libraries like Alexandria before being lost to history. Mainstream scholars remain divided, with some attributing the map's accuracy to speculative guesswork or composite references from multiple explorers. Yet, the precision of certain geographic features, such as the Andes Mountains and the Amazon River, challenges conventional explanations. Discovered in the ruins of Nippur and other Mesopotamian cities, the Sumerian king list chronicles the reigns of monarchs who purportedly ruled for spans of time that defy belief, some for tens of thousands of years. The list begins with the enigmatic phrase, asterisk, after the kingship descended from heaven, before detailing rulers like Alulim, who allegedly governed for 28,800 years, and Enmenluana, whose reign lasted 43,200 years. While mainstream historians interpret these fantastical durations as mythological or symbolic, the list also includes verifiable historical figures, such as Gilgamesh of Uruk, whose existence has been corroborated by archaeological findings. Dr. Gerald Clark, a specialist in ancient Mesopotamian texts, suggests that the exaggerated lifespans may encode astronomical or calendrical information, reflecting a time when early civilizations measured years differently, perhaps using lunar cycles or other celestial phenomena. Alternatively, some theorists propose that the list preserves a fragmented memory of pre-flood civilizations, echoing global flood myths found in cultures from the Babylonians to the Maya. Discovered in 1890 in a peat bog near Yekaterinburg, Russia, the Shigir idol stands as the world's oldest known wooden sculpture. Recent radiocarbon dating has placed its creation at approximately 12,500 years ago, predating the advent of agriculture and the rise of cities by millennia. The idol's surface is covered in geometric patterns and stylized human faces, suggesting a complex symbolic language. Dr. Thomas Terberder, an archaeologist involved in its study, argues that the carvings represent a form of proto-writing or spiritual iconography, indicating that hunter-gatherer societies possess sophisticated abstract thought far earlier than previously believed. The preservation of the idol in the oxygen-deprived bog was a stroke of luck, offering a rare glimpse into a prehistoric culture that left few other traces. Its existence forces a re-evaluation of the cognitive capabilities of early humans. What other artistic or intellectual achievements have been lost to decay and time? Unearthed in southeastern Turkey in the 1990s, Göbekli Tepe has rewritten the history of civilization. Dating back to 9600 BCE, this monumental complex predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years and the invention of agriculture by millennia. The site consists of multiple circular enclosures, each anchored by towering limestone pillars weighing up to 20 tons. Many are adorned with elaborate carvings of animals, scorpions, foxes, and vultures, suggesting a sophisticated symbolic or ritualistic purpose. Dr. Klaus Schmidt, the archaeologist who first excavated Göbekli Tepe, proposed that it was a ceremonial center built by hunter-gatherers, challenging the long-held belief that monumental architecture only emerged after settled farming societies. Discovered in 1898 during an excavation of a tomb near Saqqara, Egypt, this 2,200-year-old wooden carving resembles a bird in form, except for one striking anomaly. Its wings and tail are shaped like an aircraft's airfoil. When Dr. Halil Messiah, an Egyptian archaeologist, studied the artifact in the 1960s, he noted that its design closely mirrors modern aircraft aerodynamics. Wind tunnel tests conducted by aviation engineers revealed that, with minor adjustments to its tail stabilizer, the Saqqara bird could achieve stable gliding flight. Mainstream Egyptologists maintain that it was likely a ceremonial object or child's toy. However, the precision of its aerodynamic features raises provocative questions. Did ancient Egyptian artisans possess an intuitive understanding of flight principles? Could this artifact be a scaled-down model of a larger, functional glider? While no evidence exists of full-scale flying machines in antiquity, the Saqqara bird remains an enigmatic outlier, a whisper of knowledge that seems out of place in the timeline of human innovation. In 1938, Chinese archaeologist Dr. Chi Pu-Ti led an expedition into the remote Bayan Kara-Ulwa Mountains, where his team discovered a series of caves containing strange burials, skeletons of small, large-headed beings, and hundreds of stone discs, each about a foot in diameter, inscribed with microscopic spiral grooves. Translated by Russian linguist Dr. Sergei Laodov in the 1960s, the glyphs allegedly told the story of the Dropa, a people who crash-landed on Earth from the stars and were unable to return. While mainstream academia dismisses the stones as a hoax, the original discs vanished from public view. leaving only photographs and disputed translations. Among the most controversial artifacts in archaeology are the crystal skulls, quartz carvings allegedly discovered in ancient Mesoamerican ruins. The most famous, the Mitchell Hedges skull, is renowned for its uncanny realism and optical properties, refracting light in ways that defy conventional lapidary techniques. Microscopic analysis by the British Museum and Smithsonian Institution revealed no visible tool marks, suggesting the skulls were carved using methods unknown to modern science. Some researchers propose they were shaped using a combination of diamond-tipped abrasives and ultrasonic drilling, technologies supposedly unavailable to pre-Columbian civilizations. While many skulls have been debunked as 19th century fakes, a handful, like the Mitchell Hedges and the Paris skull, continue to baffle experts. In 1936, a curious artifact was discovered near London, Texas. A modern-looking hammer embedded in a chunk of Cretaceous-era rock, dated to over 100 million years old. The hammer's head, made of unusually pure iron, shows no signs of rust despite decades of exposure, and its wooden handle is partially fossilized. Geologists argue that the rock could have formed around the hammer through a natural cementation process, though this does not fully explain the hammer's advanced metallurgy. Dr. Hans-Joachim Zillmer, a researcher of anomalous artifacts, notes that the iron lacks the slag inclusions typical of 19th century smelting, suggesting a manufacturing technique ahead of its time. Skeptics dismiss the hammer as a miner's tool from the 1800s, encased in ancient limestone through geological coincidence. Yet, if the dating is accurate, its existence would imply an impossible scenario: a human-made object from an era when dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Housed in Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, the Voynich manuscript is one of the most enduring mysteries in the history of cryptography. Composed in the early 15th century, this 240-page tome is written in an unknown script, accompanied by illustrations of unrecognizable plants, astrological charts, and intricate biological diagrams. Despite over a century of study by professional cryptographers, including World War II codebreakers and modern AI algorithms, the text remains undeciphered. Dr. Lisa Fagan-Davis, a medieval manuscript expert, has confirmed that the writing system follows linguistic patterns, ruling out the possibility of a random hoax. Yet, its meaning continues to elude scholars. Some theories suggest the manuscript is an encoded herbal compendium, possibly containing lost medical knowledge. Others propose it may be an elaborate work of proto-science fiction, blending esoteric symbolism with imagined botany. The most tantalizing hypothesis comes from Dr. Gerard Cheshire, who claims to have identified the language as a lost Romance dialect, though his findings remain controversial. Etched into the arid plains of southern Peru, the Nazca lines are a series of massive geoglyphs, some stretching over 1,200 feet in length. Created between 500 BCE and 500 CE, these figures, ranging from animals to geometric shapes, are only fully visible from high altitudes. Dr. Maria Reich, a mathematician who dedicated her life to studying the lines, proposed that they functioned as an astronomical calendar, aligning with solstices and celestial events. Others, like researcher David Johnson, suggest they mark underground water sources, vital in the desert environment. Yet, the most enigmatic theory comes from Swiss author Erich von Däniken, who speculated that the Nazca people created the lines as signals or landing strips for extraterrestrial visitors.